So this here, we have Salesforce. This is just the home page. So you'll see our development dashboard here. So you can see some pledges, any overdue payments, some opportunities by different stages. So this is just our general home page here. So the first thing that I wanted to highlight for you, the value that comes from that. So I'm going to navigate to one of our contact records here. His name's Will Smith, and I just want to show you the different information that we're tracking for him. So one thing that I want to highlight just right off the bat is something that we like to do for a lot of the nonprofits that we work with is kind of create a profile for different constituents. And it's pretty much leveraging icons to quickly identify what relationship this individual has with safe families. So for example, we could have an icon for someone who's a major gift donor. So the moment that you navigate to the constituent record, you're able to see, oh, this is a major gift donor right away. So that's something that we've actually done for a lot of nonprofits that we work with. As I scroll down, you'll also be able to see some of the additional contact information we track. So for example, we're able to track if they're a volunteer. We're able to see all of their different contact information as well. So you'll see that there's multiple emails that we're tracking as well as different phone numbers. We're able to track if they've decided to opt out of emails or if they do not want you to call them. So you have that option as well. Scrolling down here, you also have address information. So you can actually see that currently for the address, this is Will Smith's vacation residence. So you're able to track that information as well. And I'll show you what that looks like on the household level as well. I want to show you some of the relationships that exist with the contact. And so this is just kind of highlighting some of the key pieces of information you're able to track for Will Smith. So the first thing that I want to highlight is leveraging relationships from the NPSP package. So pretty much relationships is showing you how Will Smith is related to another constituent that may be providing donations. So for example, I can see that Jada Pinkett Smith is Will Smith's spouse. So you're able to track that information and also apply soft credit to different relationships as well. Another interesting feature for Salesforce as well is the ability to track organization affiliations. So a lot of constituents may be affiliated with either one to multiple organizations. So you're able to track that information as well. So this is kind of an example here. We can see that Will Smith is affiliated with Belmar Consulting. We can see his role, and we're also able to track if he's currently a part of that organization or if he was formerly a part of it. Another really common way I've seen nonprofits use affiliations is also for you to have the ability to track any board members or board advisors for safe families. So an example here would be, we could see that Will Smith is associated to Safe Families as a board member, and you'll be again able to track if it's a current board member or former. We also have the ability to track the opportunities. So I know you're pretty familiar with the opportunities part of Salesforce. So this is where we're able to track all of the different donations, so different donation types in this case that are associated with Will Smith. We can see the different stages as well as the amount. So you're able to track that information as well. We can see if they're a recurring donor. And then one big thing that I want to highlight that we're able to see directly on the contact level is the campaign history. So given that you be running campaigns throughout the year, it's always important to know what campaigns actually resonate with an individual and which ones have worked. So if we look at the campaign history here, we could see that, okay, is direct mail a good way of communicating with this individual? Or is our spring appeal something that resonates with this individual, and you're able to better kind of cater which campaigns work well for specific constituents, and you can see that information directly on the contact. So what we can also see here is the status. So you can see that for these two appeals here, the communication was sent out, but it's only for the user conference that we've actually received a response. So you're able to track how they've responded or if it's just been sent out. Another thing that I wanted to show you in relation to NPSP and best practices, as well as some, I would say this is probably one of the coolest features, is engagement plans. So given that there is a lot of different processes for any nonprofit, and sometimes there's certain processes that can be standardized. So for example, maybe with a major gift, there's specific communication that you would like to send out, or specific steps that you take within the major gift donation process that would allow you to be able to kind of better manage, so you're not reinventing the wheel every time. So what engagement plans allow you to do is create tasks that can be either dependent on one another or they can be interdependent, but it will pretty much allow you to create maybe anywhere up to like 5 to 15 tasks at a time without you having to kind of go through that manual process. And I'll show you an example here. So for this contact specifically, we have one of the engagement plans, and what it's done is it's actually created these 2 tasks. So this is to invite the constituent as a guest speaker to the next conference, and personal phone call to acknowledge gift. So what we would do when we're adding engagement plans is, once you've set up an engagement plan, when you click that new button, you're able to search for the different engagement plans here. And once you've saved it, it will actually create those tasks automatically. So for maybe an example would be like a major gift, there's maybe 10 things that every staff member needs to do for specific major gifts. In that case, it can create those 10 tasks without you having to manually go through that process just by clicking 2 buttons. This example here is actually for like platinum donors. So that's something that you'd have the ability to do as well. And again, engagement plans are fully customizable based on the tasks that you see are going to add the most value here. So I just wanted to highlight that feature as well. And then there is one other piece of information that I wanted to show you here, which is around the giving summary. So this is where you're able to kind of see the summarization of all the different donations. One other feature that Salesforce has with the NPSP package is the ability to track levels. So this is something that you're able to kind of customize on how you want to group your constituents. But for this demo org, we have like platinum, gold, silver, and this kind of is based on the level of giving. So you can again customize this based on how you would see it, but this is a good way to help with catering communication. So for example, if the level for a constituent is platinum, maybe I want to send out specific communication on a frequent basis based on their level of giving, as an example. So that's something that you can track and report on as well. From here, I do want to show you another piece on the Smith household here. One of the features as well within the NPSP package is being able to have multiple addresses. So for example, someone may have a vacation residence that they may be away to between June to August, as an example. So you're able to track all of their different addresses. And then if you needed to, example, mail out an acknowledgement letter or some type of communication, you know exactly where they are, and you're able to kind of have that ability to manage that for your constituents as well. So I just wanted to highlight that feature there. And the next piece that I'll go into is opportunities and recurring donations. So I'm going to open up a few of the different types of donations here. And I'll show you just a donation initially. So I just want to highlight a couple pieces. So something that you'll see on a donation record or any opportunity record is some stages. So this is again something that you can customize based on kind of the business process that Safe Families follows. But for donations, usually we'll do something like pledged and then posted or closed won. As an example. So you're able to actually manage what stage the donation, major gift, or in-kind gift are at within kind of the pipeline of the donations. Going into the section below here, you're able to also associate your donations with the primary campaign source. You're able to track the close date as well as the amount. And you'll also be able to see acknowledgement information, and something that you won't see here, but once you have a product like Elevate and you're doing tax receipting as an example, you'll be able to see if the donation has been receipted or not as well, and you'll be able to track that information and report on it as well. You'll also see payment information here. And then for any matching gifts, you're able to track the information. And then tribute information also lives directly on the donation as well. So you're able to track if it's an honorary gift or in memorial of an individual, and you're able to see the contact's name as well. So those are kind of some of the cool pieces on the donation. I do want to highlight GAU allocations here as well. So I know, Natalie, for Safe Families, you are tracking if it's a restricted donation or what fund would this donation be going to. So we actually have the ability to leverage GAU allocations as a way of identifying which fund it's going to. So as of right now, automatically, the donation will go to the general fund. So that's usually what's going to happen by default. But what you'd have the ability to do in Salesforce, in conjunction with your finance team, is actually manage those allocations. So when I click the Manage Allocations button, I can actually search for the different funds that exist and then manage how much is going to each fund. And this is probably going to be a huge value add for your major gifts and grants, since grants a lot of times may be going to specific funds as well. And you're able to report on that information directly in Salesforce as well. So I'll go through a couple more examples here that I wanted to touch on. So one thing that I wanted to just highlight about the major gift process and just being able to differentiate that from donations is the actual moves management process. So Natalie, you'd be able to track the identification, qualification, cultivation process directly in Salesforce. And again, as we kind of discussed about those engagement plans, you're able to kind of leverage that functionality to standardize some of the tasks. So you're not reinventing the wheel for every major gift, but there's a few standardized tasks that can be kind of completed on an ongoing basis for the different team members. Especially if somebody's going on vacation, you're able to leverage all of that different functionality of engagement plans as well as tasks to be able to have that kind of seamless communication directly on the record. One other piece for major gifts that I wanted to highlight is being able to track this major gift information. So qualified date, ask date, close loss reason, requested amount, and then gift strategy. So you're able to track some of these key pieces of information as well. I wanted to show you this as an example of how GAU allocations can be leveraged as well. So this is an example of as a donation that would be restricted in a sense. So this would be going specifically to two of the different funds here, and you can see how the split is. So 75% to coding for kids and then 25% to boating equipment. So that's kind of the breakdown there. And again, you can create your general accounting units as needed directly in Salesforce as well. One other thing that I wanted to highlight is around grants. So again, just highlighting some of the key differences in how you're able to now, when we're looking at these different types of opportunities, what key information you're able to track. So for this one, you're able to see the different grant information here. So qualified date, ask date, as well as grant period, start date and end date. One of the, I think, biggest features here would be the deliverables. So you're able to, again, track key deliverables that come with any grant. Makes it a lot easier to manage. You're able to track when these are due. You can run reports to make sure that everything is being submitted on time as well, and that you're usually ahead of submitting. Example would be like the interim report. So these are, again, some information that you're able to track directly and report on directly in Salesforce. And then the last one that I have is in-kind gifts. So for in-kind gifts, the section that I want to highlight here that's different would be the fair market value, identifying the in-kind type. So if it's a good or service, if it's in-kind donor declared value, as well as putting in a little bit more detail on what type of in-kind gift it is. One thing that I want to highlight as well is, like, with the different nonprofits that we've worked with, something that's also been commonly brought up is whether the in-kind gift is budget offsetting. So if Safe Families, let's say, was hosting an event and the donor was providing a facility, that's like a budget offsetting in-kind gift. So you're able to track and report on that information as well. So I just want to highlight some key information that may be valuable to your team that you may also be able to track here. as well as report on around in-kind gifts as well. So I wanted to go through one example of a recurring donation. So again, exactly what we were talking about before, depending on the platform that you go with for hosting your donation page, that information is going to be sent into Salesforce. So for recurring donations, we would leverage the recurring donation object in Salesforce. So for recurring donation, you're able to track if it's open or fixed. I know in most cases for Safe Families, it sounds like it will be an open recurring donation that's going to be on a monthly basis. You do have the ability to customize some recurring donations as well. So if you did want to do specific installment periods or charge on a specific day of the month, you're able to set that as well on a recurring donation as well. You can also define the payment method here, status as active. So I just wanted to, again, highlight some of the key features with campaigns, as well as kind of how that information can be mapped from different platforms as well. So over here, we have a Spring Appeal 2022. We could think of this as like Giving Tuesday campaign as well. Very similar structure, but pretty much we're able to track the type it is, the status. We're able to track any additional information around the expected revenue, the value of the opportunities coming in, what's in the hierarchy as well, which I'll highlight in just a moment. So if we actually look at the campaign hierarchy here, we can actually see the breakdown of how individuals have been communicated to. So this might be a cool feature to leverage as well around campaign management. So you can see that you communicated using direct mail, email, phone, as well as social media. You can see how many contacts you've actually reached out to, as well as how many have actually donated. So you're able to see all of that information. And then for your campaign for Spring Appeal 2022, all that information is going to roll up as well. So you have one place where you can see all of it. Campaign member information can also be tracked as well, which we kind of talked about before on the contact, but we can also see it directly on the campaign as well. So we can see if they've responded or if it's just been sent out as well. And then when an opportunity does come in and it's associated with a campaign, the status would be updated to responded. So that's some automation that exists within Salesforce.